The ugly duckling. On a warm spring morning, the farmyard buzzed with life. A mother duck sat patiently on her nest, waiting for her eggs to hatch. One by one, the eggs cracked open, and her tiny yellow ducklings emerged, chirping joyfully. But the largest egg remained unhatched. Finally, with a loud crack, the last duckling broke free. He was different. His feathers were gray and scruffy, his body larger and clumsier than his siblings. The mother duck stared at him in confusion. "What an odd little one," she murmured. The other ducklings were quick to notice. "Why does he look so strange?" one of them asked. They laughed and jeered, calling him ugly and avoiding him whenever he tried to join their games. The farmyard animals weren't any kinder. The rooster sneered, "What kind of duck looks like that?" Even the old cow shook her head. Everywhere he turned, the ugly duckling felt out of place. Each day he gazed into the pond, hoping his reflection would change, but the same gray, awkward image stared back. "Why am I so different?" he whispered, tears rolling down his cheeks. Leaving the farm, unable to endure the constant rejection, the duckling decided to leave. He wandered into the woods, hoping to find a place where he could belong. In the forest, he encountered other animals, but their reactions were no different. A group of sparrows laughed at his clumsy movements. A fox eyed him hungrily, forcing him to flee. The days turned colder as autumn approached. The duckling was all alone, scavenging for food and shelter. One evening, he saw a flock of elegant swans flying overhead. They were the most beautiful creatures he had ever seen, their white feathers glowing in the twilight. "I wish I could be like them," he thought, longing to join them. But he didn't dare approach. They'd never accept someone as ugly as me. Surviving the winter arrived, harsh and unforgiving. The duckling struggled to survive, finding shelter in an abandoned barn. The cold seeped into his bones and hunger gnawed at him daily. One particularly icy night, he collapsed in the snow, too weak to move. A kind farmer found him and carried him to his home. "You poor little thing," the farmer said, wrapping him in a warm blanket. Though the farmer's family cared for him, the duckling still felt out of place. He didn't belong here either. As spring returned, the duckling felt a stirring of hope. "I must keep searching," he thought. Thanking the farmer in his own way, he left to continue his journey. A new discovery. One day he reached a large, serene lake. As he approached the water, he saw swans gliding gracefully across the surface. Their beauty took his breath away, but it also reminded him of his own inadequacy. "I'll just stay on the edge," he thought, but one of the swans noticed him and swam closer. "Why are you hiding?" the swan asked kindly. The duckling lowered his head. "I'm ugly," he said softly. "I don't belong with you." The swan tilted its head. "Come into the water," it urged. Hesitant but curious, the duckling stepped into the lake. As he swam, he caught a glimpse of his reflection. He gasped. Staring back at him was a beautiful swan with glistening white feathers and a graceful neck. I'm not a duckling?" he stammered. "No," the swan replied with a gentle smile. "You've been a swan all along. You just needed time to grow into yourself." Tears filled the duckling's eyes, not of sadness, but of relief and joy. For the first time, he felt like he belonged. The other swans welcomed him warmly, their kindness melting away the pain of his past. As he swam with his new family, he realized that his struggles had shaped him into someone stronger and more compassionate. Moral, true beauty lies within, and it takes time and courage to discover your true self.